And now, from beyond our dimension, this is the JeffMara podcast. Here's Jeff.
All right. Hello, everybody. Happy Saturday to you. And if you're on the other side of the planet, happy Sunday to you. Sorry about the start and stop. I'm still adjusting stuff and figuring out a new system to start up my podcast. So I'm just working through it. And the only way I can kind of really do it is go live. And so here we are. All right. So we had a busy week. Basically, we have a busy week every week because it's every day that I post. So thank you all so much for being here. I'm so happy to have you. And we've already got people waiting, so I think we should get started. 2 people are already in the waiting room, and that is Jenny and Barbara. So let's put in Jenny Rook and see what's going on. And we'll ask her to turn up. She's already there. Jenny.
Hello.
Hey, Jenny.
Hi, Jeff.
How are you?
I'm fine, thanks. How are you?
I'm great. Sounds like you're British. Are you?
I am, yes.
Are you in the United Kingdom or in Australia?
In England.
Okay.
Yes,
Sometimes
UK.
sometimes British are down in Australia, so you never know.
Right.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. What do you have to share with us this evening?
Well, it's a very extraordinary story.
Oh, great.
Because I've been an atheist for 50 years.
50 years.
Yes.
That's a long
I'm now
time.
68,
Mhm.
But my father, when I was 8 years old, I asked him, "Do you believe in God?" And he said, "No evidence, dear. No. So I was quite an active atheist, really like Richard Dawkins and Christopher Hitchens and people like that, and
Mhm.
really went for it.
Mhm.
And then I worked as a psychoanalytical psychotherapist for children and their families.
Wow.
And once a girl I knew who was really deeply depressed and sort of very gothy, used to dress in black all the time and
Yes.
didn't wash much and was, really suicidal and cutting herself and all sorts of things. And suddenly she changed completely. And she came in wearing bright clothes and she was clean hair and everything was different. And she said that it had been a spiritual healer who had helped her.
Hmm.
And because I was a very curious person, I decided to investigate all this. And of course, once you start investigating and you look at near-death experiences and all these things, you find that there's an awful lot of evidence for them and reincarnation and so on. Anyway, so I finished up sort of really interested in this and, went for it and did Course of Miracles and all sorts of things and finished up doing a course called 45 Days to Awakening, which was run by a chap called Jeffrey Martin, American guy.
Okay.
And on day 12 of it, it was consisted of a lot of meditation and positive psychology. I suddenly felt this huge, a feeling of warmth and love and beauty. And there's this voice in my mind saying, "You are in my heart." And I just didn't know who it was or what it was or anything, but it was as clear as a bell. "You're in my heart." And over the next few days, there were various things like, "You are divine." And I said, "Why me?" And it said, "Because you are everyone." And what it was doing was telling me about unity consciousness, which was really weird. And in the end, I said, "Who are you? What is this? What's going on? It's really weird." And it said, "I am the sun in the sky."
Mm-hmm.
Sun? How could the sun be talking to me? It was just completely weird. And it went on for a good year or so. I had all these messages from the sun, which I've turned into a book. But there's one particular thing I want to talk to you about, and
Yes.
it's because I've listened to a couple of your other of these groups that have been like this, and there were several people who were saying that this feels like a game or the Matrix
Mhm.
or something like that. and that this isn't the reality and so on. And I have to say the sun totally agrees.
Really?
But it says that it's not a dark fantasy like the Matrix. It's full of love and beauty. But what it is that Source, you know, that before anything happens, comes out to play, it said, you know, and what it does, it's not doing it in order to experience itself or anything like that. It is to get the vibrations that we are moving from rocks and stones to dinosaurs, to animals, to people, to light beings, and onwards like that. And it says that the sun's told me that it is a sort of game. And the thing that's why it's not a malign game is that it's about our emotions. Our emotions are the pathways. Our emotions are the counters, if you like, and forgiveness is the trump card.
First of all, I want to go back to something. You said you are a psychotherapist or a psychiatrist or psychologist?
A psychoanalytical psychotherapist. So yeah, basically I am an analyst, but the difference is that an analyst sees people 4 or 5 times a week, and I only saw them 3 or 2 times a week. Yes. So.
Now you're using the word source, and that infers to me that you're not an atheist anymore.
No,
but
not at all.
Do you feel like source is some type of universal consciousness or do you think it's a old man in the sky?
I don't think it's an old man in the sky. There's nothing like that. I don't believe in that. Source is like the source of all creativity. Everything springs from source. It's like the quantum world before the wave collapse. Yeah. So it's like the potential that's there before anything else happens.
Do you think that we are all extensions of that source expressing ourselves?
Yes, I do. The sun's well, I've written a book, as I said. Can I read you a bit about it? Because it really does sort of put it into
Sure.
The right words, because I'm not as good at it as I was when I was writing it. It's chapter 5. You see, I said to the sun, "Are you God?"
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it said, "From your perspective, yes. I am the creator of your planet and of you. I am well described in the loving aspect of many of your religions, and I understand and love everything that you are and do. I know the secrets of every heart, and I forgive everything because I am you through the function of my photons. You need only relax and you will feel my love all around you and within you. Not a fly dies without my knowledge, without my care. And yet, from my perspective, I am not God, but a channel for God or Source's love, as it fills the universe, the galaxies, and the constellations and star systems. Now I focus that love into your world." So that's how it goes.
So if the sun, and I'm not sure, it sounds like you're saying the sun is a channel for God. And
yes, if you like.
But are you referring to sun as like the sun as in being Jesus? Or something just like you? I think you also mentioned the sun in the sky.
It is the sun in the sky. It is literally the sun in the sky. It said, I've contacted you before in ancient Egypt and in the sun kingdoms of the Americas, South America and Central America. And shamans and various people also are very keen on the sun and so on. It says that it has created us all, that the planets are the children of its heart. We are in its heart. We are the sun's imagination, in fact. And that's why I think it was somebody you spoke to called Jeff something, who said, "I don't think this is reality," and it isn't. The sun imagines what we are, and within its great self, it has the real world of what we are and imagines us out into the solar system. So we've got a pale reflection of what it really is.
That's interesting. Yeah, because a guest previously said that this matrix is a copy of something else.
Yeah.
And you're saying the same thing.
Exactly.
So, and it sounds like to me the people of ancient times had it right in being sun worshippers.
Exactly. But the sun, you know, I kept saying, thank you, you know, and it's because it's so beautiful and wonderful, and sunsets are marvelous and what have you. And it said, you're thanking yourself because it created us. You know, I said, is this your voice or mine? And it said, no, you are me and I am you. We are all the sun's imagination. We are the sun,
Mm-hmm.
all of us. You are too. You know, it's just a weird thing. This is why it seemed worth writing a book about it, because
What
it's quite complicated and
I
there's
think
quite a lot to it.
you are exactly right by saying it's quite complicated. And I think what complicates everything is our own ego, and we believe that we are separate.
I know.
And that's what makes everything crazy.
Well, that's what the sun said. He said that our separation is designed, our free will is designed, and the veil, the forgetting that we are the sun, is designed. So, and it is so that we play this game of learning to get on with each other, of learning how to be kind at essence and to love each other, because our future is to become a group mind.
Is to become one mind?
A group mind,
A
yes.
group mind.
And a sun, or any of the stars, they're all like this, are all composed of group minds, lots of them together. And I said, well, what about our diversity, our different things? And it said that the best image for this is it's like an orchestra. You need all the different instruments in an orchestra to make the music, but the music is what the sun is and what the god is, or the star is.
Now, after you figured all this stuff out,
Yeah.
did you have any spiritual transformation yourself?
Yeah.
What happened to you?
I've been more or less in ecstasy for
Wow.
2 years now. You know, it's just the most wonderful feeling. I think it's the heart chakra or something that's opened or something, you know, and I'm just full of joy, and I love everybody and I love everything. You know, it's just so lovely.
Was there some kind of catalyst that set this all in play, or how or why did this voice or the sun start speaking to you?
Well, I think it's been getting me ready all my life, because my dad, apart from being an atheist, he had all these books about Tutankhamun and the archaeology of the Sun Kingdoms and things like that. And when I was doing my various sort of investigations after I dropped the atheism, I also took 1 dose of 5-MeO DMT.
Wow. How did that play out?
Well, it was amazing, and I think it sort of opened my brain up to what happened afterwards.
Do you watch? Sorry about that.
Because I'd never had any sort of spiritual experiences apart from that. I've never had a near-death experience. I've never seen a ghost. I've never felt, you know, in a haunted house or anything like that.
Yeah, I think that's like
Nothing.
most of us here.
Yes, nothing at all. Until suddenly I got this massive download. And I think it's useful that I've been an atheist, because I could challenge the sun with all the atheistic problems. Why is it so bloody painful here?
Yes.
Why do we all suffer so much?
Right. What is the answer?
Well, the answer is that we have to learn to love each other. It's deliberate. The pain is deliberately organized. We choose it in our between lives bit so that we can grow. And that's something that other people you've interviewed have said. We're here to grow. And that's exactly true. And we choose the kinds of pains that we come to.
I agree. I agree with you, but it seems like at this rate, it's going to take for eternity for us all to get on board.
Well, the sun said, we have such tiny lives, we have such tiny understandings that we haven't a clue really what's going on. You know, it said it can't really tell me everything it wants to, because the the bandwidth of my brain is so narrow. I just can't. It says we're like the mayfly. Mayfly. Do you know about mayflies? Do you have them in America?
It's
They're
been a
like
while.
small dragonflies.
Okay.
And they crawl out of the pond, and they live for one day. They don't have any mouth parts. They don't eat. They just mate, lay their eggs, and die.
Okay.
And you think about a mayfly in a field or a garden or something like that, and what could that mayfly know about the London Underground, for example? What could it understand about space travel? What could it understand about anything apart from that? And we are like the mayfly in our lack of knowledge about things. There are other dimensions, there are other universes, not just our universe, other universes, which have different physical laws and all the rest of it.
Let me ask you something, if you don't mind taking a comment from the chat. And someone had a great point. It's from Body and Spirit Relax Music. He says, how can we grow if we keep getting our memory wiped out? So yes, we don't remember everything every time we come back.
No. But it's like karma, really, isn't it? It's you go through your karmic consequences, and then you don't have to do it again next time. You don't choose to do it again next time in the between lives bit, because in the between lives you can look at your life, your previous life, and work out what you're going to do in the next one.
So when we come back this time, we're not paying the debt from the previous lives. That's already worked out from in between lives.
Yes, we would have done that. Yes.
Okay,
yes, so we've sort of ticked the boxes,
Yeah, I like
done
that
one.
I like that better, because some people do think that we're still paying on accounts from lifetimes ago.
No, I think if you keep taking lives that don't address a certain problem, then it might look like you are going to keep doing the same thing over and over again. But if you take a life that, say you're a very selfish person, and you've gone through lots of lives being very selfish, very selfish, very selfish, and it's never really been addressed and sorted until in the end you think, I've done this too much, it's ridiculous, I've got to stop, and then you do stop.
Now, are you still a psychoanalyst? And if so, how have you changed your treatment regimen?
Well, I'm not. I'm retired now,
Oh.
and I am looking after my very old mum, who's 94.
Wow,
And,
good for you.
So I've got a different job now.
Yeah.
But it is really strange, because I've treated people who've had voices in their minds. A lot of the teenagers I met said, oh, this voice tells me I've got to cut myself, or I've got to throw myself off the high building, or I've got to do this, and so on. And I've looked at their lives and thought they've had really difficult times in their lives, and this is what's coming through. It's changed them into a voice that's coming in and being malign to them and horrible. But for me, I've had a very nice life. I had a loving family, and secure and absolutely fine. I mean, it's had its problems. I've had 3 marriages, brushes with bankruptcy, my children have been ill, all sorts of other things have gone on since. But, it's been okay, basically. And I just feel very lucky, and amazing to have finished up with this huge feeling of happiness.
That's amazing.
So lovely. It's so lovely.
When you first started hearing the voice, were you questioning it and your own sanity?
Yes, absolutely. I thought, am I going mad? And, but for example, when it said, I'm the sun, I was sort of, the sun? What? I was thinking if this voice might have been Christ consciousness or something like that, or whatever, but it wasn't the sun. And so I said to myself, all right, the next poem I read, if it's got the sun in it, I'll believe this. And I was clearing out the newspapers, and there's a regular poet in the Sunday papers one and I read it, and it quoted that old hymn, "Glad that I live am I, after the rain the sun, and after the sun the rain." And there it was, that hymn was being quoted in this poem in the paper that I looked at that day. So I thought, I just have to take this on board. This is the sun.
All right, I'm going to have to run soon, but before I go, can you give us some advice out of your book that can help us all with our daily lives?
Remember that the sun is looking down on us all the time and beaming love to us. The child of its heart, Gaia, our earth under our feet, is thinking of love coming up to us all the time. We are the sun's imagination, and it's all going to be all right.
That's good. All right, well, what's the name of your book?
It's called The Book of the Sun.
The Book of the Sun by Jenny Rook, and you can find it on Amazon?
You can indeed.
And do you have a website or a YouTube channel?
Yes, I do. I have a website. It's jennyrook.com. Very simple.
Okay, there you guys go.
And please contact me if you want to.
If people want to ask you questions, can they contact
Indeed,
you
they
from your
can.
website?
So what's amazed me, a lot of the reviews have said, reading this book makes me feel happy.
That's great.
So perhaps it spreads.
That's great. That's awesome. Jenny, thank you so much for coming and sharing. It was a pleasure talking to you. And don't be a stranger. Come back and say hi to us again sometime. And
I will.
take care.
I very much enjoy your podcast.
Thank
really
you so
lovely.
much.
Thank you so much.
All right, take care.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Cheers. All right, that was Jenny. And that was interesting. Sun. That's a new point of view that I have not had in over 700 podcasts. So that's pretty cool. Next up is Barbara. And let's see, where is she? Okay, she's almost here. Let's have her start her video. And it looks like it's going to be a very busy night tonight, everybody, which is great. All right, we're just waiting for her audio to connect, and then we'll be good to go. And it was, oh, there it is. Down here it's saying connecting to audio.
Okay.
Barbara, are you here?
Yes, I am.
Hi, Barbara. Welcome back.
Well, yeah.
How are you this evening?
I'm okay.
Great. Where are you from again? I'm trying to remember.
Wisconsin.
Wisconsin. All right. I bet you it's crazy cold up there. At least has been, right?
Just the last few days. We only had our real first big snowstorm recently. So
Did you
not
get?
too bad.
It's nice. That's very nice. All right. So, what do you have to share with us tonight?
Well, I'm like to talk about synchronicities.
Great.
Okay, I was my mom was 30 when I was born.
Mm-hmm.
When my daughter was born, I was 30. And our months are flipped. She's 3-5 and I'm 5-3. So March 5th and May 3rd. The thing is, my grandpa and my mom died 30 years apart.
So 30 is a big number for you.
30's coming up again because when I add the year my mom died, 1999, that would be 2029, and that would be 30 years from the time my mom died. And I would be the same age as my mom, and her dad was the same age. We were all, so they were both 69 when they died. In 2029, I'll be 69.
Well, that doesn't sound good.
No, but I did look up the meaning of 30, and there's a direct connection to the divine source. So that's something good. So maybe through generations we're coming around. But the 30 years apart is just kind of freaking me out. But You talk about your synchronicities, I just wanted to bring that up.
Have you had any other synchronicities besides numbers in your life?
No, I see 1111 a lot, but well, my dad died when my mom was 42. But I was divorced when I was 44 though, but it was pretty close.
Mm-hmm.
Actually 43.
Well, maybe you'll just have a massive spiritual awakening at 69 and you'll be reborn again.
I'm working on it.
And then maybe in another 30 years at 99, maybe you might cross over. How about that?
That'll be good. Yeah. Yep. But through your broadcasts and other broadcasts, I'm working on my spirituality and working on, getting to the source and everything like that. And I wanted to, did anybody talk about that balloon that they shot?
No, they haven't. It's funny enough that you said that. I was thumbing through TikTok this evening and I saw some videos of it being shot down. So,
Yeah.
that's big news right now.
It is. Yep.
That's big news. It is. All right, Barbara. Well, I'm going to run along to the next person. I've got people waiting on me, but thank you for coming and hanging out with us and sharing with us. I really appreciate you. And hey, have a great rest of your weekend.
Thank you. Okay, thank you.
All right, bye-bye. All right. We'll give her a big applause. I got to keep up with my applauses. Okay, next is Jeff Thurber. Let's get Jeff in here and see what's going on with Jeff. And we've got a busy night. It's great. Good, good, good. We'll keep it moving right along. Chat. All right, you may want to mute the YouTube.
Sorry about that again.
No problem. Got a busy night. It's great.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
I got the pop-up again.
All right, we got you.
Okay.
You're here. Have you been on before, Jeff?
Yes, sir.
I thought you looked familiar. Where are you from again?
I am from a lot of different places, originally from Southern California, but I'm currently living out in Florida.
In Florida, all right.
Yeah.
So what's going on this evening? What do you got to share with us?
Well, I know you're pretty stacked, so I'll just share one experience for the night. I was out in Tucson, Arizona, doing my master's degree internship. And there's this...
In what?
I work with the blind and visually impaired.
Great.
So
you're getting a master's degree in, what would that be in?
It's called Orientation and Mobility. So it's like it sounds, working with getting people oriented and mobile in like a long cane. I don't know if you've ever seen someone on the side of the road, maybe next to someone. Person has a long cane.
Right.
So that's what I do. But yeah, and this was in 2012. So,
a big year.
Decade ago and a few days. So, so long story short, I was with a client who was completely blind, devout Catholic, and he wanted to visit this old cathedral that I think was built in, it wasn't built in the 1600s, but I couldn't tell you exactly what year. So we go inside and I'm just admiring the architecture because it's so intricate and beautiful and sort of Gothic, kind of, very cool. And he's down on a prayer bench doing his thing while I'm just kind of walking around and looking at the candles and things. And I see this long glass encasement with a wooden statue on it, and a lady in front of it is doing prayers. And of course, I doubt things sometimes. I don't know. Could have been my brain playing tricks on me, but because in some ways it was subtle, but not to completely discount it. I see what looks like the statue kind of rise up and flutter and go back down. And I honestly would have forgotten about it, except that within 30 seconds of getting back in the vehicle to drive my client back to, wasn't his residence, but to the hospital, within about that time frame, he says to me, "Hey, Jeff, you know the statue in there?" I said, "No, I don't, because I'm not Catholic." I said, "I don't know anything about it." He says, "Well, it's St. Francis, and it's supposed to levitate for anybody that God wants to speak to."
Wow.
I didn't ask him about it. I wasn't bringing it up. He has no sight at all. Wasn't anywhere near the statue. And he just says that out of the blue. And I've got a coworker with me. And at the sake of looking crazy, I just went into it and I said, "You know what? I feel like I saw something. I don't know, but oddly enough, you mentioned that." And he just said, "Well, I'm jealous." So I don't know. It's a lot of, if something didn't happen, if it was my brain just playing tricks on me, it's still a pretty fascinating coincidence.
Well, did you ever get some kind of communication with God?
And I've wondered about that. What if that's what was happening? What that communication, what that's trying to nudge me towards, any sort of inference and intuition. And it's hard to say. I mean, when I walked into the cathedral, the image I had in my head, again, I wouldn't know how to interpret this, was a scene in Boondock Saints, this movie you've probably heard of or seen, which is really cult classic back in the day, 10 years before that, where they go on and they hear a priest talking about, the worst thing a good person can do is stand by while an innocent person is getting hurt. And then, they go out, probably say a couple curse words, put on their sunglasses and say, "Finally, the preacher got something right." And then the movie ensues from there. And I don't know if those two things might have been related. God was spirit energies trying to tell me there's something I'm here to do, defend those who need help. No idea. But that was my association with,
I don't know. So when you say that your friend said the statue would levitate, but and I don't know if it was really levitating or just moving, and if it was moving, does that count as levitating?
I mean, at first I would have interpreted it as the lady was almost pushing on it, but it was in glass, and it did not, the whole thing didn't go up. I saw it kind of go up and down. And to me, I mean, it's a heavy statue, so it just, none of it made sense in terms of basic physics. So to me, I feel like that's close enough. I mean, if something's
right,
again, who knows?
Right.
But
Straw Piglet in the chat has a good point. Have you looked up the history of St. Francis yourself?
I have looked into him after that, fascinatingly enough, and there was a legend around him actually floating in the air while he was alive, and so that has something to do. I don't know the whole gamut. I should a little bit more as to what he was a saint for, other than that anomalous activity. But yeah, I mean, maybe there's a message there, right?
Well, let me ask you this. Before this, were you an atheist or something?
Well, I know we talked last time about how I'm sort of I would still qualify myself as agnostic, and I was before that. But I think certain things have added up. Um, Oddly enough, that is not one of the major incidents that has made me sort of really start to believe that there's something behind the scenes. I'm more of a believer now, only sort of as the lady before me was speaking, we just don't know enough. Our finite minds can't comprehend the vast reality, and that's where I'm at with it. But I still believe there's something I just don't understand that's really putting all this, dreaming this up. So I would probably say that I might have been more on the atheist side than agnostic side before that. But again, there have been other events that I've seen that hit me a little bit harder than that particular one. That to me was just cool. I don't know.
Do you think it's possible that you have some type of spiritual purpose of being here and you forgot about all this stuff with your memory being wiped and now you're getting nudges to bring you back here because you've had that? Look, you're here in the podcast watching this stuff. For some reason, you're here into all the spiritual stuff. That makes me wonder that.
Sure. I mean, and I've looked into all these different stories of children who can remember past lives and sort of how validated they've become. I believe there's a psychologist who's written a book on it. Bad with names right now, but and so it does seem like there's something going on there. I don't. I'm leaning towards there being an aspect of reality, and pretty fascinating. It wouldn't surprise me if that were the case. I'll just say that.
Right. Mosby had a great comment, and I'd even think about that. And that is, perhaps you are here doing God's work by helping the blind.
It's possible. I mean, that's a nice thought. I'll be honest, though, sometimes I feel like that job is I'm spinning my wheels, and I've been really trying to figure out myself. I feel like my talents aren't fully aligned there, and yet at the same time, when I am helping a client out, it certainly do have those moments of spark where you're really making a difference, and that's great. So.
Well, Jeff, I appreciate your honesty. And, you're an honest person and you're searching for these coincidences and you're honest about it. And I think it's great. And I appreciate you coming on and sharing it with us.
All right. Well, thank you for your time.
All right, bud. Have a great rest of your week. And I need to roll on and take care.
Thank you.
Cheers. And let me give him a round of applause. And next, Ananda, Bulgaria, which I'm guessing that means this person's from Bulgaria. But we'll see. Well, let me ask this person to start their video.
Jeff, how is it going?
Hey, how are you? It's been a long time since I've seen you. Where have you been?
Well, around.
Yes, but I forgot your name, and I know you didn't used to sign in with Ananda Bulgaria. You had another name
No, Gopal, but
Gopal. Yes, that's it.
But I used to sign with Ananda. Yeah.
What was a different account, right?
No, it's the same. I think it's the same account. I'm not sure. I don't remember.
Well, and also your camera is much better now. And your internet.
Really?
You look so much clearer than from what I remember.
Oh wow. Well, maybe. Well, I think it's the same camera. Maybe I was signing up with the phone or something.
Possibly.
Yes.
So what have you? It's been a few months at least since we've seen you. What have you been up to?
Well, trying to build Ananda, which is our spiritual organization here in Bulgaria. I don't know if you are familiar with Ananda, right?
I don't know. I knew you were doing something, I thought, with Sharon Milliman.
Yes,
Are
yes.
you still
Well,
working with her?
well, working is a strong word. We are just communicating very often. I spoke to her recently, like 2 weeks ago. I went because I have here. I love cats.
Mm-hmm.
She loves cats. We
Oh,
both
great.
are like cats lovers.
Mm-hmm.
So I got her with me. Speaking on the camera
Mm-hmm.
to the village here, which I have a house, which is my grandmother. She passed away, so the house is empty.
Mm-hmm.
So I have them there, my kiddies, and they are now 13. So we
Wow.
were there, and it was a great travel with her. So we talked and we had a great time. So that, and pretty much that's like I try to build Ananda, which is the spiritual organization of my teacher, which is Swami Kriyananda. Yeah, I don't know if you know, Swami Kriyananda was
Mm-mm.
direct disciple of Yogananda, who wrote the autobiography of a yogi.
Oh, wow. Yeah. That,
Yes, yeah.
I think here in Iowa, in the state of Iowa, they have Yogananda's University. Is that right? Or is that a different person?
No, no. So I'm not sure about this exactly this university, because our organization is there is like kind of two types. One is a self-realization fellowship, which he created in the 30s,
Mm-hmm.
and then Swami Kriyananda, who was one of his disciples, who was with him like 3 years, like from 1949 to 1952. Then he was like progressing into the organization, and then he created Ananda from
Right.
there. So this,
Right.
so maybe this university is something,
Right. I think
because there are
actually I'm getting him confused. Yogananda is the one that had the Diary of a Yogi, right?
autobiography of a yogi.
Right. Right.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm confusing him of somebody else.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. Oh, that's great. So this person in Bulgaria is a disciple of Yogananda's, you're saying?
No, no, no. He's not from Bulgaria. I'm from so Ananda is a spiritual organization which is growing. He first created Ananda Village, which is in California and Nevada City.
Hmm.
So this was in the 60s. He started. Then this grew up. Then other colonies started to, people live in, as we used to say, highly simple living and high thinking, spiritually for God, in harmony with nature. So then they started growing, and communities started to form up. And then they started in Europe and Italy. Actually, this person who was saying about St. Francis and I was like, oh my God, this is so cool, because actually our Ananda is in Assisi, right over the Basilica of St. Francis. The Basilica is here, St. Francis, and our community is like few kilometers on the mountain. So and then I create, not me myself. I mean, I try to start the community here in Bulgaria, so Bulgarian people can have access to these teachings. I translate the courses. I give lectures, and actually my TikTok account is grown now to 15,000
Wow,
followers.
that's amazing.
Yeah.
Congratulations. That's
Thank
awesome.
you. I just posted a video today talking about life after death, which I also mentioned about ND, and it got 10,000 views just from today. So
Wow, it's
it's
amazing.
really good. Yeah, and I try to dispel the light here as much as possible, and to teach people that there is no death, there is only life. And Yogananda actually talked about everything that you talk about with the ND people talk about is the same thing, the light and the angels, God, everything is the same thing. So these people experience it from ND, but he talked about also from experience, but and it's the same thing. It's like really amazing.
I would assume that Bulgaria is not only a Christian country, but is it Catholic? Roman
No,
Catholic?
it's Orthodox.
Orthodox. Okay, kind of
Yes.
like other Greek Orthodox, right?
Oh, Greek, yes, exactly, Greek Orthodox. And we have lots of monasteries, and actually really good monasteries, really, really spiritual places, really good spiritual places. And as this person before that, he talked about St. Francis levitating. Yes, that's true. And also, like, we have here several saints. Like, for example, in the 1920s, 30s, there was a female saint here. There is a monastery there now built in her name. Really, really interesting. You remember I told you about Baba Vanga, which was this clairvoyant woman, very famous.
Right.
Baba Vanga talked about this woman. She said she has much more power than me, but she wasn't famous. She was, and many people saw her levitating over the trees and stuff there in the monastery. So really spiritual, really great places here to go to, and it's really beautiful. Bulgaria is really, I think, is really underrated in terms of beautiful nature, spiritual places, and amazing people, of course. But Baba Vanga also said that Bulgaria one day will be known as a very strong spiritual place. Many millions of people will come here to pilgrimage, and it will be known all over the world. She said that because she also predicted many things that happened already. She predicted them in the 40s, the wars in the 20s, the 30s, everything, like many things, the 9/11, many things before, years before that. So
Right. Didn't Baba Vanga predict something that's coming up soon? Another war, perhaps?
well, there are many predictions, but she never said like this will happen. Well, she said some things that will happen in exact dates, but for the wars and for the very big troubles that are coming, she said yes, but she never gave like yes, this will happen in the 20 whatever exactly year. But she said that there are. She said this cannot be. Missed. You will have to go through it, and then will come the peace. Later will come great harmony. But this will be like a bitter cup you have to drink before everything goes better. And yes, it something will happen. Yes, and it will not be pretty. Yogananda actually said the same thing.
I guess you could say my wife would be Armenian Orthodox, and they celebrate Christmas, I think, around January 6th. Is that the same in Bulgaria? Do they also have the old Christmas date?
Well, not that I know of, but what I can say is that when I was living in Spain, they have 6th of January, what they call the Reyes Magos, which means the three wise men that go to Bethlehem, and they follow the star. And actually, very interesting, Yogananda explained that they didn't follow the star on the east because the east, it represents the spiritual eye, so they was looking to the spiritual eye, and that's how they found Jesus. And he explains it very interestingly, but I cannot say about that in Bulgaria. I haven't heard to be honest. I'm not sure.
Is your TikTok is that in English or in Bulgarian?
Okay, it's I talk in Bulgarian there, but I have a few videos which are universal, which you can watch about. I love animals, so I feed them, and people are very, very touched by this. And it's in Bulgarian, but there are some videos that are universal, like feeding kitties or dogs, and it's actually Bulgarian.
Okay,
It's
well,
it's
I was
called
just going to say, if people, before I go here, I would want to let people,
Yes.
if they want to check out your TikTok, what is it called?
Okay, Ananda, Bulgaria.
Ananda, Bulgaria.
Same as my username here.
There you go. Well, Gopal, thanks for coming back and hanging out with us. It's been a long time. It's good to see you again. And, don't be a stranger. Come back and see us.
Thank you so much, Jeff, and many blessings to everyone, to your audience, and to you, to your wife, and to your family.
Thank you. Same to you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. That was for Gopal. We haven't seen Gopal in about 2 or 3 months, probably at least. It's been a while. All right. Oh, it's somebody's birthday today. Sue McKimmy. Happy birthday to you, Sue. I hope you've had an amazing day, and I hope you have an amazing year. And I hope whatever year this is for you, it's the best one yet. So happy birthday. Next up is J. Maybe it's Jokta. Not sure how to pronounce that. If I'm not saying it right.
Am I upside down?
You're sideways. That's
Sideways!
okay.
It's Octavalor.
It's Jokta Valor or Octavalor.
Octavalor. Is it up now?
There you are.
I'll hold it. So this is where the party is.
It is. We just said happy
Yay.
birthday, so we're all partying here.
Exciting.
So where are you coming in from?
Kansas City, the best city on earth.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah. Oh my Jesus, I'm still sideways.
No, you're maybe it's a little bit of a delay between what you see and what's
Oh.
live, so
Okay.
you're up right now.
Okay, cool.
Well, thanks for joining
Right.
us. What do you have to share with us tonight?
My gratitude to you and Mara for what was it you were saying earlier? You were here doing God's work, leading the blind, right? Perhaps.
Well, I don't know about us. I was saying the other
Well,
guests.
I think it's beautiful. I think it's beautiful. It's a time of great remembering, right?
Yeah.
And where
good way
each of
to
us
put it.
are getting to remember our aspects, and who we really are, and lifetime of all lifetimes. And I always watch your beautiful guests and your beautiful wife, and then you are so amazing just as a host. So
Thank you.
I'm kind of nervous to be on. I'm excited. And hi to everybody in the chat.
Oh, that's great. My wife says you're beautiful, and you don't need to be nervous. It's just us. It's just
I
our
know,
community here,
right?
and we're all
And
happy to have you.
281 others.
Yeah,
Yes.
and we're all happy to have you here.
Thank you.
So, have you had
what
any? Have you had any spiritual transformations in your own life?
Oh my Cheez-Its. Too many? No. Starting in 2020 though. So for 36 years, I was a complete atheist. I mean, I would weave in and out, and I was always a seeker. I would read Eastern philosophy, I think was what hit with me the most. And I grew up in several different churches, and they're a little condescending, maybe. I don't know. They just don't represent teachings in the best way.
Okay.
So I was at a music festival, and I had an NDE.
Wow.
And at that time, it was what I didn't know was a walk-in experience. So I consider the walk-in experiences higher self walk-ins. So oftentimes people will be like, it's an embodiment of a galactic being. But in actuality, to me, how I feel is a higher self, which was great because I was actually at a pretty low point in my life, because Earth is kind of like, I don't want to say it's crappy because it's awesome, but it can be tough.
Yeah.
There's a lot of times that I hated being here. So after that, it changed my life.
Let me ask you this. So you had this walk-in experience. Are you a different person now? Or did you feel like you just connected with your higher self and something within you fundamentally changed?
I did about a complete 180. And that was a gradual process. My body began acclimating prior. So I started getting allergic to like eggs, stuff like that. Things I'd ate my whole life or put me into anaphylactic shock, and random things here and there. Then my attitude started changing, I guess. But I began seeking again. So at that point, when it happened, it wasn't an instant snap. It was, again, these gradual things. And I still didn't believe in God. I didn't even grasp the fact. I didn't believe in source. I didn't even grasp the fact that I was a walk-in until an angel like hijacked a body when I was at a grocery store and walked straight up to me in the middle of, it was like I don't know, it was insane. And that began, somebody said the word, it's the Great Awakening. And that was a trigger word for me. So in my own time, I started looking for Great Awakening stuff. What is this? And then people talk about waking up to the corruption of the government or whatever, the control structures. But there's an even a simulation above that one you can go into, which involves the galactic aspects, the Council of Nine, the star seeds. So that began a whole other journey of experience and discovery. So throughout that, you get to kind of know yourself more. I've seen somebody in the chat asked about meditation and if meditation helped them connect. And personally, for me, I think for about 2 weeks straight, it was me and some plant medicine, going in and meditating for about an hour or two and having these incredible experiences. And that was when the activations began, and then grew up super fast, understand quantum healing, being able to help people heal their traumas super fast in all types of different ways.
I
Sorry,
love
I'll
that.
talk so much. I'm so
No,
excited.
you're great. I love that idea or that visual of an angel hijacking someone's body and then communicating with you.
Yeah, it was pretty intense. I had
And
just walked a friend. Yeah, go on.
and the
Sorry.
and the person, that's all they said is it's the Great Awakening or what?
An additional friend did. This guy had came up and was like, what did he say? God sees you and you're his beautiful princess. And I'm like, what the hell is God? And it was, the thing was that his eyes they completely shifted colors. They were in the middle of a crowded grocery store on a Friday night. And it was terrifying for me at the same time, because I'd always been seeking God, always been seeking, didn't know what I was seeking, but it was like, there's something on the edge of this. And then I was in shock, and I was going to take a picture of him because he just hopped right back into the grocery line and just proceeded like nothing ever happened. And it changed my life for eternity.
Wow. It reminds me of, I read about a guy, if you guys know the band. What's the band? Gosh. There's a guy, famous singer in a band, Smashing Pumpkins. This is similar what happened to you, but different. But I saw some kind of, I was reading an article and he said his is different. It was like an alien. He was talking to maybe like a music executive. And all of a sudden the guy shapeshifted into like a reptile eyes with different eyes. And it totally freaked him out. And like I said, it's obviously not what you are, exactly what the experience you did, but it still kind of just reminded me of that.
Yeah, no, and when you think about, one hit wonders, and then maybe why Smashing Pumpkins didn't come out again because they had experience with reptilians. These are things I ponder on.
Yeah.
Were they a little freaked out by not wanting to be a part of the reptilian gang? Is that what this is? But who knows, right?
Right.
How cool. I hadn't heard that.
Yeah, I would be great. Maybe the more I read, it was like he said something in the article. It was like he didn't even want to talk about it publicly. It was like, I don't know, to us, because I had thought about, man, that'd be a great guest, but I think it was frightening for him to speak too much about it publicly. So I was like, well, I guess I'll leave it alone then.
Oh yeah, and then imagine that internal, psychosis struggle. Where you're like, wait, did that really happen? No, that definitely happened. That's something. And with it, when it happens to regular people, just the audience, anybody we see out, I want everyone to know they're not crazy. We got some weird stuff going on right now.
Yeah. Yes, we do.
Mm-hmm.
Well, so what are you doing now? It sounds like you were helping people or something.
Everywhere I go, I just try to have fun. Well, I have friends all over the planet. That's kind of how I heard about your podcast a couple years ago, maybe. And so some of them have been featured on here and there. And then also, one of the bigger things, aside from restoring our souls and helping people get through their traumas with whatever level they're at and what they want to access, doing some work with higher beings. I do a lot of like I said, multidimensional healing and embodiment. So through that way, we do divine blueprint activating, light language healing, language of light healing, things like that. But the number one thing that a lot of angels are here to do is restore the planet. So it's like we're seeing these things crumble and collapse for a reason, because we know what didn't work. And everyone has, it's like this, it's a momentous task, but everyone on the planet is so capable of following their hearts and doing what brings them joy and putting our kids first. I mean, that's my number one. So
right.
What I just, try to bring some joy and happiness through this chaos. So
that's great.
That's it. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for coming and sharing with us. I've got to run. I got 4 people waiting on me, but
thanks to you
thank
guys.
you, and have a great weekend.
You as well. Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Oh, she's gone. Oh, I don't know what music she was asking either. Mara says, Angela, that you were asking us to share some music. I'm not sure which one you're talking about. Anyways, on that note, let's get to the next person. That is Stanley. Maybe she liked some of the background music I had been playing. Let's see here. Stanley.
Hey,
How's
Jeff.
it going?
Hey, Mara.
Welcome.
Pretty
Hey,
good.
hey. I like your jacket.
Thank you.
Are
Thank
you
you.
in New Mexico or somewhere?
No, I'm in Washington State. I live on a reservation. So
Okay, yeah. It looks something
yeah.
Native American. Looks really cool.
I'm very Native American.
Are you near Mount Rainier?
No, I'm probably about 7 hours away from there.
Yeah, so you're on the other, probably on the east side then.
Eastern. Yeah.
Oh,
I
awesome.
live on a reservation right now.
Oh, I didn't know. Yeah. What is the reservation you live on?
The Colville Confederate Tribes.
Okay, my knowledge of Native American tribes is pretty bad.
Oh, no, that's okay.
So I'm assuming you are Native American then, yes?
Yes.
Oh, great. All right, cool.
I guess I want to talk about I had a life review in my dream when I was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
And well, before that, I used to be able to astral project when I was a kid, probably about like 3 or 4 and 5, but I didn't know how to control it, and I would wake up screaming, and my dad would come in and just be really upset at me. So I had to like pray that away, so I couldn't do it. And I totally forgot all about me doing that. But when I watched the movie Insidious, everything just clicked, and I was like, "Oh my God, that's me! I was that kid. That happened to me."
Mm-hmm.
And then I had an out of body experience once too. I fell down a basement, and as I was rolling down the basement, it was like a cement basement, and I came out of my body. I see myself come out of the body, and I'm looking at myself from up above, looking at my body, like, what the hell just happened? I just rolled down, like, how am I seeing this? And I got scared, went back to my body, and then shook it off, but I didn't have any injuries from that or anything like that either.
You know, that's kind of like an NDE where a lot of my guests who have real traumatic NDEs, like they get hit by a car or a bus or something, they pop out just before the injury happens. So it kind of sounds the same, that maybe potentially you could have got hurt really bad, so your consciousness popped out before that happened.
That's probably true. I never thought about it that way either. And then when I was 11, I was home alone. It was during summer. My brothers and sisters were gone, and then my mom was at the store. So I had 2 young guys come over that were like Mormons, and they gave me a pamphlet, and I took the pamphlet, said thank you, and I went in my room and I was reading it, and it was a pamphlet about Jesus, and then when you go to Jesus, what happens to you when you pass away. So as I'm reading it, I fall asleep, and I immediately just started getting lifted up in the sky by 2 angels, and then I'm up in the clouds, and I'm seeing like all of these angels, and they're all watching this movie screen, like a drive-in movie screen. And so I'm watching this, and it's my life review, and they say it's my past, present, and future. And so as I'm watching this, I'm like, why am I watching this? Like, why? I don't get it. Like, why am I watching this? And then I can't remember what they told me why, because it's been so long. I was like 11. But throughout my life, I've had all these deja vus. I'd be sitting here, I'm like, God, I feel like I've been here before. Like, I feel like I've been doing this. Like, I've done this before. And yeah.
When you saw
I had a lot of it.
when you saw your past and your future, were they different lives and different parts of the planet, and you were completely, you could have been a...
No, it was actually this life. It was actually this life.
Oh.
And I got to see, yeah. So when I talked to a psychic about it, I don't know if this is true, but this is what she told me. She said that I got to see my life review because I don't get to reincarnate it. I don't have to reincarnate if I don't want to. So yeah, that's what she had told me.
On the reservation, do they have a shaman there?
We have a medicine man. We have medicine men and everything, but my grandfather was a medicine man, so I think that's probably why it got passed down to me. I think my mom was very spiritual as well. My mom passed away last year, And she had came to my sister and told my sister that she wanted me to work my spirituality. I've been watching your show for like 2 years. I've been
Wow,
like,
thank you.
yeah, yeah. So I've been like, I feel like I'm like an AA, like
You're an
I had
OG.
an experience.
Well, I was just curious if you had ever, shared your experiences with the shaman on the res.
No, because I'm very like, I'm very private about my stuff because I'm just trying to learn it myself and just trying to work on myself. But I really don't want to go to people for guidance unless I really have to. I'd rather work on myself.
Well,
And
go ahead. I'm sorry.
oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, since your grandfather was a medicine man, have you ever considered that's your path?
Yeah, I think so. And it's probably why I grew my hair out.
That's cool. That's awesome. That's
Yeah.
great. So if you decided to do that, how would that happen? Would you go to the current one and ask to be trained, or what would happen?
Well, when I did speak to the psychic about this, she had told me that I would need to go to California to get work done. And I said, why would I need to go to California? Because there's a lot of people here in Washington State that actually help me with this.
Right.
And she had said, well, that's where your road's going to take you to. So,
Mm.
but that was last year. She told me all this, so I don't know.
Do one of the most interesting things I've had in my life, and because I don't live there, I'm in Texas, and where I'm at, there's not any reservations nearby. So I was traveling through Arizona one time, but I was off the highway, just driving like through the middle of the states, and we were just kind of flipping through the radio, and I think we had it on AM because we were listening to talk radio, and there was like a Native American radio station playing just like more like music and chanting. Do you have that where you live?
Yes.
I think that's very cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I have a lot of Native American like background in spirituality and like traditions that we do. Yeah.
That's cool. All right. Well, Stanley, hey man, thank you for coming and sharing with us. And I really appreciate you watching for so long. And
Yeah.
you're welcome anytime to come share some new things that you have happen to you.
Okay. Yeah. Definitely.
All right. Well, I'm gonna get running and have a great rest of your evening.
All right. Thanks, Jeff.
All right.
Thanks,
Take
Mara.
care.
You too.
Bye-bye. Stanley. All right. All right, Stanley. Next up is Tanya. Let's bring Tanya in. Oh, okay. So you like the background music. I have about 3 or 4 songs of background music. I have it kind of programmed into my machine here. So I kind of just go from song to song. I have a feeling that you'll like one particular song, maybe. I need to put some of my own personal music in here. I need to do that. That would be pretty cool too, to have that in there. Tanya, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
All right, you got another cool screen, this background screen. Now you're underwater. That's very cool.
Thank you.
So the last time we were here, I think we were talking about your sleep paralysis. Has it happened again?
No, it haven't, but I'm coming here to share the other part of the same event.
What did we leave out last time?
Well, last time I leave out the reason why I had the paralysis.
Mm-hmm.
So the reason why I had the paralysis was because I remember an event that happened in my office. So the event was that I was in my office talking to my coworker, and then this old man, tall old man, fragile, walk in the hallway pushing a walker. And I say hello to this person. I say hello because it wasn't anyone from the office. I didn't recognize the person. It was the first time that I saw him. So I say hello to the person, but he didn't acknowledge me. He continued walking straight, and then he sat in the last desk area, and he sat there and he moved like he was doing something, like working. So because my coworker was standing right beside me, and she didn't say anything, and she had been working there longer, many years than me, I assumed that she knew who he was, and so that was perfectly fine. So that's why I didn't question him any further, like, who are you, what are you doing here, or like ask her, who is this person, what is his name, or anything like that, because I'm assuming that she's seeing the same thing that I'm seeing. So that, for some reason, came to my mind in the middle of the night, and that caused me to have this sleep paralysis. So days passed, and I was thinking about that. I'm like, I was like, why with an event at the office that it doesn't seem weird at all, why did that cause the sleep paralysis?
Yeah.
So I went back eventually, to work, and eventually I got the courage to ask questions. And the first person that I went to was my coworker that was standing beside me when this person walked in the office. And I asked her, who was the man, tall man, fragile old man, using a walker? Who is he? And she said, I don't know, what are you talking about? And
What
I said, yeah. She said, what man? I said, remember the day last week or whatever, whenever it was, I was standing right here, you were standing here, I was talking to you, and I repeated the whole thing to her. And this man walked in, and you didn't say anything. And she was like, I do not know what you are talking about. I didn't see that man. So I went to the next office, and I asked my other coworker, do you know of anybody that looked like this? And I described the person: tall, skinny, old man, fragile, that used a walker. And he said, the only person that I know with that description retired a year ago. And he will not have any reason to come back here, and much less walk through our security doors that are always kept closed without any kind of like entry card or anything. He will not have that. So if he came in, he would have said hello to us because we know him. And I was just in shock, because this is the first time that I have seen a vision of someone that looks like it has a skin and bones, and walk in the middle of the day in an office that is already filled with other people. And I saw this person. He walked in the hallway all the way down to the last desk, and he sat there, and he made it look like he was working. Now, the next day, I asked the person that sits in that desk, I said, is there anyone that comes here to work when you're not here, like that shares your desk? And he said, no, nobody uses my desk when I'm not here, and my desk doesn't even have a computer. I have a laptop computer that I plug it in when I use the desk, and then when I leave, I take my computer with me. And the person that I saw that came in and sat in his desk, he was making it seem like he was on a computer or something.
Now,
And so
you use the word vision. Do you think it's a vision or an illusion that you saw, or do you think it was really a being that was there and only you could see it?
no, I use the word vision because it's like only I saw it.
But you really
But
think he was there?
he was there.
Mm.
He walked in the middle of the hallway pushing his walker, and clothing, everything, bone and skin. I didn't have a reason to think that he was a spirit, that he was nothing bilocating.
Who do you think he is?
I think it is the person that used to work there.
Oh,
The person that retired a year ago.
But is he still living?
I asked for the name and I looked it up really quick in Google, and I couldn't find him. And I just because I was using the work computer too, and you know how they track everything, like in that where you go and stuff on the internet. So I, after a couple of things, I just like close everything and leave it left it there. But I don't know. I think it was him, and I saw him. He walk in like a person, like a skin and bones. And this is the first time that something like that I can verify.
Now, I don't remember what happened to you during your sleep paralysis, but did you see him during that episode?
No, he caused me to have the sleep paralysis, but what happened is that I went out in the universe first, but like in a void.
Yeah, I think I remember that
Because
now.
I didn't have any like purpose. I didn't ask for any kind of like I forgot what the word is. But at the first time I didn't have any kind of like, oh, I want to go here or do this or that. It was just the sleep paralysis, and then I saw myself sitting. My body was laying, but my soul was sat up on the bed, and then I felt my legs move to the right, shift, like glide to the right, and then I was out. But then I went into actually I saw the earth like really huge, how the earth is, like almost like if I'm going in a rocket, and then you're looking at the earth as you're like leaving the earth. That's how huge and big I saw the earth. But then I was like in a space like nothingness. And so then I remember myself like, oh, I didn't have any, and I forget what the word is. I didn't have any. I didn't.
You didn't have an intention, maybe. Yeah.
Intention. I didn't have an intention. So I said to myself, well, the next time I want my guardian angel to take me to the Akashic records or heaven. And then the second time, that same night, I had another one, and then I was taken to a place that looked like a park, and then I saw many people there, but I don't remember seeing him. Maybe he was there, but I don't remember seeing him.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense that maybe he was there, or is it possible that even though he looked like this frail old man, that was your guardian angel, just kind of, appearing as something that wouldn't be recognizable?
Yeah, but I really think it was the co-worker that they used to have.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Maybe somehow, if it was a ghost and it's somehow, Maybe you've already been having out-of-body experiences. It has changed your frequency, your energy level, and just coming in contact with another being changed you a little bit more, just tweaked you a little bit to, like turning the dial a little bit, just to now you had another episode during your sleep. Just being in the vicinity of him and his energy.
Yes, because the strange part was remembering that scene in my sleep and causing me to have a sleep paralysis. So that's what caused me to think about it until I decided I'm gonna ask. Because I don't know why this situation that doesn't seem, that seems normal, caused me to have a sleep paralysis.
Yeah.
And then asking, that's when I find out, like, she didn't see anything, nobody sits there, and the only person that fits that description retired a year ago
Wow.
from the office.
That's a great mystery.
Yeah.
Well, Tanya, thanks for coming and sharing with us. I really appreciate you. I'm going to run along, but thank you so much and have a great rest of your weekend.
You too. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Okay, well, yeah, RJ's here. Yeah, I think RJ's going to be popping in. So next, RJ, if you want to come on in and get in line. I've got Leslie Kings, and then maybe we'll have you up next. If you don't know how to get in, yeah, well, if you don't know how to get in, and not only RJ, but anybody else, you just go to Zoom and you click join a meeting. And then once you join a meeting, right in the description below the video, it has it has the room ID and it has the password. So when it asks you for those things, there you go. You just enter that in, and then it should put you, you pop you right in and you get in line. And at this point, let's see. I don't know if he's there or not. So anyways, maybe he'll be doing that. Let's see Leslie here real quick. See what he's up to. PDP, thank you so much for that super thanks. I really appreciate it. Leslie.
Hello.
How are you, brother?
Yeah, it's okay. I challenged myself. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Oh, that's good. How about the piano? One moment. I let things here always need change. Otherwise, I enjoy, but not you.
Now, for those of you who... I don't hear the piano.
Yeah, not coming.
There it is. So for those of you who for those of you that are here for your first time, Leslie has a channel called Leslie Kings, and he channels, well, at least when he comes here, he live channels playing music. So whatever he plays, he's just channeling it and plays something for us. And we've got him here today. And so this is a very busy night tonight, Leslie. So if you don't mind, maybe we could just go right to having you channel us a song.
Honestly, you are a host, but last time...
No, just talk a little louder.
Oh, okay. He must take something off.
Okay, so now I'm going to turn on the video if you want to see, to make sure that...
Okay.
You can see Leslie's really playing. He's not faking the keyboards. There we go.
So honestly, yes, last time you gave me homework.
We gave you homework.
Yes, you said you like to do this one.
Oh yeah, we wanted to try that. Yeah, I wanted to see if that comes out in real time. So maybe while you're... Well, if you're going to be channeling something, though, I don't want to interrupt because you're going to be channeling something really nice.
Absolutely. For not coming, something continue, a very short version, 2 minutes about this, but after I play the channeling.
Oh, okay, yeah, we'll try a real quick song and we'll see if we're in time together. It'll be interesting.
Thank you.
Okay.
The Bible verse what I play is Psalm 23, verse 1. The
Okay.
Lord is my shepherd, I shall not be in want. This is the word. And channeling and another version. I like to ask your public, your audition humbly, for find out what is same at the two version, a melody, the rhythm, the dynamic, or the tempo, so they can write down for what is the same for the two version. But try we do this, I playing.
All right.
Try Jeff, come on now. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not be in want. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not be in want. I shall not be in want. I shall not be in want. Yeah. I shall not be in want. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not be in want. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not be in want. I shall not be in want. Yeah. I shall not be in want. I shall not be in want.
All right, bravo, great job. So when I go back and listen to it later, we'll see if that we're on time together or not, because I don't know until we just,
Okay.
It does? My wife says it sounds like it's on time. That'll be great if it is. All right, channel us a piece, Leslie, and let's see what you can come up with.
The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not be in want. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not be in want. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not be in want. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not be in want. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not be in want. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not be in want. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not be in want. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not be in want.
call. That was beautiful, Leslie. Great job. Great job.
Thank you, sir.
Now, if you got...
Yeah, I promise next week I will just channeling.
All right.
Use the time.
If you guys want to watch Leslie on Friday nights, he has his own channel on YouTube, and he plays, and I don't know if you're channeling there or not, but you do have your own channel, and he goes live on those Friday nights. So if you want to check him out, I'm sure he'd love to have you. Your channel's called Leslie Kings, right?
And sir, next week opening every day your time, in San Antonio's time, every day 11 o'clock, 11 minutes.
So you're there daily now?
No, in Hong Kong daily, but your is every day evening, 11 o'clock and 11 minutes. I play 20 minutes.
That's at 11 my afternoon or 11 in the evening?
11 o'clock evening. 11.
Okay, so every day at 11 p.m. Central Time, he goes on and channels a song for 20 minutes.
Something like...
More or less.
More.
So if you guys, I think that's great. If you're up that late and you need some peaceful music and some great music, then pop in and listen to Leslie.
God bless you.
All right, God bless you,
Jeff.
Leslie. Thank you so much for coming and playing with us.
Amen. God bless you once again.
Thank you. God bless you. Have a great night. Bye-bye. All right, that was Leslie. And RJ Spina's here. And RJ has been a guest twice. And we'll see what he's up to. And while he's coming in, I want to say, Jeff, for that super thanks. Thank you so much for that. We really appreciate it. RJ, can you hear me?
I can. Can you hear me, Jeff?
Yes, sir. How have you been, brother? It's been a while. Good to see you again. It's like seeing an old friend come in. I like it when guests come back.
Yeah. I figured I would pop in. Wait, I lost you on my screen here. What did I just do?
Are you still up in New York?
Yeah. So I'm in upstate New York. I'm in Rochester, right on Lake Canandaigua. Actually, it's about 25 yards from me.
So did you get snowed in this winter so far?
Well, yesterday was about -10.
Wow.
And then, of course, we had that crazy, whatever they're calling that thing that happened, what was it, like a month ago? Or no, Christmas time. It was Christmas time. Yeah, it was about 25 below. But believe it or not, other than those two extremes, yesterday and then, it's been very mild. The snow hasn't really stayed. There's a little sprinkling now, but tomorrow is supposed to be like 45 degrees. So it's just going to disappear.
Nice. So what have you been up to lately?
Well, there's been some interesting things, Jeff. I'm excited. I'll try to recap.
Great.
I have a new book that comes out in August.
Awesome.
It's called Change Your Mind.
Mm-hmm.
This is about how to authentically deprogram your subconscious limitations by bringing them into your conscious mind, and then how to balance your energy. So it's quite revolutionary. It kind of picks up where Supercharged Self-Healing left off.
Mm-hmm.
So that comes out in August, and I'm happy to say that I'll actually be the narrator on that one, because when you're a first-time author like I was with Supercharged Self-Healing, I said, well, I'd like to narrate my work. And they said, well, I'm sure you'd like to, but we're going to hire a professional voiced artist to do that, which they did. But this time I was able to, I actually auditioned for it and sent them a tape of me reading my own book. And they're like, okay, yeah, you can do it.
Oh.
So I'll be in New York City in a couple of months to record that. So I'm happy about that. I'll be narrating my work. And from now on, I'll be narrating my work. I just signed my first international publishing deal.
Wow. Congratulations.
Thank you. So I'm very, very happy about that. It's with a publisher called Galactica. They're based in Serbia, and they just bought the rights to the Polish translation to Supercharged Self-Healing. So I'm really thrilled about that. I've wanted I feel that the work needs to be translated in various languages so everyone can benefit from the teachings. And I also, this is all in like the last week or so, I also just signed another book deal for my third book, with Llewellyn, the same publisher as Supercharged Self-Healing and
Mhm.
Change Your Mind. That book is untitled at the moment, but the subject matter has already been worked out, and that book will come out in around August of 2024. So there's a book coming out this August. There's a book coming out next August. Supercharged will be available in Polish, and everyone will get to hear me narrate my work moving forward. So I'm very excited, and I'm just glad that the work is getting out there in a larger way.
Well, just listening to you, you have a great voice, so I don't see why they wouldn't let you narrate the last book.
Yeah, they, from what I don't know too much about how that industry works whatsoever. My agent is well versed, and they said they don't like to take chances with the first time author also narrating the book. They just feel that it's too much of a risk. But I literally recorded myself a few days ago into my phone, literally reading the first page of Change Your Mind, the upcoming book. And I literally sent it to the president of the company. And I said, this is my audition tape. I'd like to narrate my book. And he literally says, you have a great voice, you can do it. So I was like, okay,
awesome.
Fantastic. I'm happy. Yeah, I'm happy about that. Oh, and one, before I forget, and one other thing, the most frequently asked question that I get literally from everyone across the world is they have trouble with meditation. RJ, I can't meditate. I try and try and try. It's just this elusive thing. So tomorrow, noon Eastern, I'll be teaching a live meditation, and people can join me. If you wanna check it out, just go to ascendthefrequencies.com. There'll be information right there. It's tomorrow noon. I'm gonna walk and do it. We're all gonna do it together. I'm gonna teach about 10 different ways of instantaneous meditation, what I call them the magic tricks, if you remember. So I'm gonna be teaching those, some that I've never taught before. And I'm also going to be doing what we would call a long form meditation. Well, for me, it's a long form. It'll be about 5 minutes, but I'm also going to teach a long form meditation and give pointers so people can effortlessly maintain a state of meditation, and we can no longer be troubled by the idea that we can't be present. I don't know how to do it. It's too difficult. It's too elusive. It's too hard. We're going to break every barrier there is tomorrow. No one will have any difficult meditating for those who take the class. Well, it's not even a class, a live meditation with me tomorrow at noon.
Have you ever considered creating meditation videos and putting them on a YouTube channel?
What I've just done is I just recorded, I believe it's 10 or 8. I'm not 100% sure. It's 8 or 10 new meditations that deal with specific issues such as trauma, depression, anxiety, insomnia, lack of self-love, lack of self-esteem. So I just recorded 8 or 10, and I'm going to be putting those into my Supercharged Self-Healing course. So those that purchase the course or purchase or do it just online through the website, which you can purchase it that way, there's going to be a meditation and an explanation of what those things actually really are from a metaphysical perspective, as well as a meditation that will alleviate and relieve those symptoms. So I put it into the app instead of just putting it on YouTube. So if people are troubled by any of those things, and most human beings are troubled by one, if not many of those things, the remedy is there. It'll be uploaded in there soon. I don't have the exact date, but it's coming pretty soon. And so will be a bunch of advertising. For the first time ever, Jeff, I'm going to actually advertise. I've never done it. So there'll be some advertising on YouTube coming up. So more and more people will finally be aware of Supercharged Self-Healing and some of the other things that I'm going on. And we've been working very, very hard at all of these things. And I'm grateful and thankful to people like yourself that have been able to give me a platform where I can reach more people, because this is what I'm here to do. And I can't thank you enough for having me on now, having me on twice before. I sincerely appreciate it.
I want to remind people, because the channel is growing and there may be people here right now or watching this later that don't know anything about you. So I just want to say, and please don't be offended because I just have so many guests, but you had severe health problems and basically worked yourself back to being healthy again, correct?
Yeah, I was permanently paralyzed from the chest down. I was told I had 48 hours to live. I had sepsis. I was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes, Hashimoto's autoimmune disease, severe autoimmune disease, pancreatitis, thyroiditis, and I had to have emergency surgery where they performed a laminectomy to scrape off the infection that had compressed my spine and caused permanent paralysis. And when I woke up from emergency surgery, I had finally reawakened into true, authentic cosmic consciousness and started explaining how self-healing and self-realization actually works, and explained to the doctors and everyone that I'll put myself back together. Here are the specifics. Here's the protocols in terms of how this is done. And I said, in 100 days, I'll walk unassisted. And of course, most of them looked at me like I was crazy, but a couple of them looked at me like, there's no way. What this guy is saying is way too specific. It's way too specific. And so I documented the whole thing. As you know, there's a video on my website. You can see the MRI on my spine. You can see the surgeon's notes. I had the physical therapists and the doctors film me because I knew no one was going to believe that this was actually possible. And on the 100th day, I did walk unassisted. I'm no longer sick. I don't take medication. I'm not paralyzed. And I've been teaching the protocols of self-healing and self-realization, really, I wouldn't say since that day, but as soon as I got out of the hospital rehab, which is in about 60 days, I was already at my Chinese medicine expert's clinic, and he would bring me in there and I would teach meditation and self-healing. So this is what I've been doing since 2016, and we're just getting started.
When you say you connected with cosmic consciousness, would you say that's basically connecting with source, or do you feel like you were connecting with your higher self?
Yeah. So, okay. So what we call self-realization or enlightenment is full communion with this is from my direct experience. So self-realization or enlightenment is full communion with the higher self. So you now realize what you are, where you come from, and you have access to that entire environment, to all endless amounts of information. Authentically self-realized or enlightened beings would be wildly different. And I think what passes for self-realization or enlightenment today is just people that have transcended the rational thinking mind, which is quite an achievement, but that's not what self-realization or enlightenment is. It's communion with your higher self. Cosmic consciousness is what starts to go beyond that. Communion with God would be God consciousness. And once you start to have the communion with God, it's not a channeling, it's a oneness. And that to me is authentic cosmic consciousness, where you and creator are one, and it is tangibly known. And at that moment, you see the creator, can experience the creator in all things all at once, which sounds insane, but that's the whole oneness and the bliss state. But this is absolutely true. And I used to say as a kid, if I ever get sick, I'll just heal myself. So, and my last name is Spina, which means spine. What a coincidence. So cosmic consciousness to me is really God consciousness, and self-realization or enlightenment is full communion with your higher self.
So you're saying that you did actual God, you connected with God consciousness, right?
Yes, God consciousness. Right. There's a book that hasn't been released yet, where there's a whole bunch of interactions with God, with source. So I just haven't put that book out, or given that book to my agent, to be quite frank about it. I haven't given that book to my agent, but yeah, there's direct conversations with God that are going to be completely different in terms of the conversations, other authentic conversations that people have had with God. This is a very high level metaphysical discussion about things that I think are really going to help humanity move it forward in its understanding of things. And I really feel that this kind of knowingness is where I remembered the understanding of how self-healing actually works.
So your new book is called Change Your Habits. That's coming out.
Change Your Mind.
Change Your Mind, but it's about changing your habits. Is that right?
Yeah, it's about deprogramming your subconscious mind, which is where all our limitations are hidden, which we don't see. These are things that we're working on, assumptions we don't even realize have been programmed into us. And so the rational thinking mind or the egoic mind is not the reality creator that people think it is. The rational thinking mind has very little effect on reality creation. It's your subconscious mind that actually dictates and creates reality. And there are many limitations that have been programmed into human consciousness. We just don't actually, excuse me, realize it, hence subconscious mind. So there's a protocol or a technique, or however you want to describe that, that I started doing this years and years and years ago. And I've taught it to many people, and they've been able to shed themselves of all of these things that they have always felt were limiting them. So I figured it was time to turn it into a book. So this is how you authentically deprogram your subconscious mind and then balance your energy. And there's going to be a quantifiable metric that people are going to be able to use in terms of interacting with certain people or doing certain activities or engaging in certain behaviors. Does this actually raise my frequency and add energy to my energy bank account, or does this lower my frequency and decrease my energy bank account? So there's going to be an actual quantifiable metric for people to measure if they're working optimally or not working optimally. What should they cut out of their life? What should they not cut out of their life? What should they enhance? What should they do more of? What they should do less of? So it's really revolutionary, and I'm excited for it to finally be out there. That's called Change Your Mind, and it comes out in August. You can pre-order it now, and I suggest pre-ordering it because Supercharged sold out right away. So hopefully that's why I think the publisher made it available so quick. It's called Change Your Mind.
All right, great. Well, if people want to check that out as well as your meditation tomorrow, what is your website again?
It's ascendthefrequencies.com.
Ascendthefrequencies.com. All right.
Yeah.
Well, RJ, thanks for coming back and hanging out. It's great seeing you again, and I wish you massive success in whatever you're doing. And I got to run. I got 2 people waiting on me.
Thank you so much for having me, Jeff. It's nice to see you. You do well.
Sorry about that. Nice seeing you too.
That's okay.
Right, take care. Cheers.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. I was trying to grab the mute button. I have a little mute button to block that cough, and I just didn't make it. I didn't make it in time. All right, next up is Kim. Kim Tobin. I didn't give him an applause. And we'll bring in some music to bring Kim in. And it's been a really busy night. And the last few weeks has been really busy, and I love it really busy. And I like it where I don't have time to talk about the news. I don't have even time to tell you what's going on the podcast. It's just busy, busy, busy. And that's great. So hopefully she'll be able to get on here. Sometimes guests, it's difficult for them to get on. I'm not sure what's going on with this. I missed it. Oh, I think someone gave us I gotta say thank you to somebody. Are waiting. Jay Lizard, thank you so much for that super thanks. I really appreciate it. Okay, so Kim, this is what I'm going to do. I'm not kicking you out. I'm putting you back into the waiting room. All right, so you're still with us. I'm just going to go to Laura next, and maybe we'll see what happens, and I'll bring you back after Laura. And if you guys have been with me, and for those of you who have, you know that sometimes I just end up doing this. I can keep things moving along. So let's see if we can get Laura in here. And I hope, oh, here we go, good. I was worried there's going to be something wrong with YouTube, but it's not. And we're just waiting for her to connect to audio. Laura, can you hear me?
Yes.
Welcome,
yes.
welcome. Where are you Zooming from?
I am in Arizona.
Arizona, great. What city?
Right now, Phoenix.
Phoenix, all right. I've had a lot of guests from Phoenix. Well, what would you like to share tonight?
I just wanted to ask to all your viewers. You have so many people that are watching you, and I'm really excited and honored that I'm here. So every time that I hear your videos, the people that had all these experiences, they described something that I experienced, but without nearly dying.
Okay.
So I just wanted to know.
So it sounds like you may have had an NDE-like experience without trauma.
Yeah, I guess that's the description. Now, the thing is, since I was a child, I remember my past lives. And as a child, I didn't even know how to describe it. I had to grow up to actually understand what happened to me and how I died in the past lives. And so I remember my death in both these lives. And I remember going to a black area. It was all black, and that's it. That's everything I remember.
Sounds like you went to the black void.
Yes, and I was scared, and it was lonely, and it seemed like forever. But that's like that is something that I haven't experienced in this life. It was a past life, and the vision that I had one day was a common day. I didn't it was not that special, like nothing happened different. It was a stressful day like every other day. Went out for my job, and suddenly I just had this vision. It was like I was not there, like I was watching to all these people, and suddenly I was not there, and suddenly I saw all these lights. All these lights were connected, and there were thousands of millions. And I was like looking, I'm like, this is so beautiful. But no, it was not the vision. It was more the feeling that I had. The feeling was it was that I love all of those lights, that I love them. Like it was like if I just gave birth, and all of those little lights were my little babies, and I had to protect them and hold them and care for them. And I really didn't know what happened, but it was seconds. But the second that I came back from that vision, because it was just a vision, I fell down on my knees and I started crying, because I've never felt a love so intense for anything. Not like I can only compare it when I gave birth, to this little tiny baby that is so delicate, and you want to take care of it. But it was millions, and I felt that love for all of them. It was I was in tears, and I was like, where did this come from? And then it started like my search, because I didn't understand what happened to me. I didn't know. So I started searching. I started like, I was kind of in a search at that point of time. I was going through a lot of negativity, and I was trying to improve myself. So I started looking in different religions, and I started a path to understand what happened, and because I wanted to feel it again. I just wanted to feel that feeling again.
What were you doing? Did you say you were at work when this happened?
Yep, I'm a teacher. I'm an artist and a teacher, and I was going out from school when that happened.
I've one spontaneous event like that comes to mind of one of my guests. I think it's Dr. Anup Kumar is his name. He's an emergency room surgeon, and I think he had a spontaneous thing like that. But I think at the time when his happened, he was reading some type of spiritual book or something. It was something really thought-provoking, and then kind of like, bam, this happened. So I was just wondering if you were reading something or doing something at that time.
Normal day. It was a very stressful normal day.
Yeah, well, I don't know everything, and maybe had you been doing anything previous that could have actually been a catalyst to this, like you were exposed to some new information, or you had some kind of major stress in your life or something going on?
Major stress, yes. I was in a very abusive relationship,
Mm-hmm.
and I was actually, I didn't want to live it anymore.
Right.
And because I didn't feel escape. And so that's the only thing that I can think of.
Had you been contemplating taking your life?
I did at that time, yes.
Is it possible you were contemplating that at the time that you had the experience?
Nope.
Nope. Well,
I was so it was like I was just going out of school.
mhm.
It had been a very stressful day with the kids, and then my children came to my classroom. They wanted this and that, and I was like, I cannot do this anymore. I was working. I'm like, I'm gonna stop. Like I was like, grading teacher stuff, and I'm like, I cannot do this anymore. Let's just go home. And I stood up and I started walking, and suddenly that happened. Like I was looking at the kids playing in the playground and stuff, and suddenly they were transformed into lights.
Right. I'm curious what the audience is going to say, but it sounds like, you were just going through some massive hard times and some stress, and maybe even, your guardian angel or something, your higher self, had you had this experience of connecting with the other side that, it's like you needed this boost and you had something that kind of keep you going.
Yeah, and definitely it kept me going, because then I was, like humanly, I can love my kids and people around me a lot, but the love that I felt in that moment, I started crying. I was on my knees. I just fall on my knees because the love was so amazing. I want to feel it again. And I started like, how do I feel this again? And where did that come from? I really want to feel it again. And after that, I actually went through a lot of different things. I started studying metaphysical sciences because I wanted to know what was that. And I started studying Buddhism, which kind of gave me the understanding of that. They call it bodhicitta. So it's this big love for all living beings. And I started that path. So actually, yeah, I'm in that path.
Yeah. It sounds like to me you had some type of intervention spiritually, and have you had any other events since then?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yep. Yes, some others that are really kind of a little out of normal.
Right. Well, you've had some amazing experiences. I wish I knew all the answers and I could give them to you, but I can only relay, kind of put together what my guests tell me and kind of pass it along. But I appreciate you coming and sharing, and it looks like people are already writing about it in the chat. So,
oh, that's awesome. I'm really so excited.
Maybe were you in the chat earlier tonight?
No, I was not.
Oh, okay. Well, if you might want to pop into the chat, go to the YouTube channel and pop in and see what everybody has to say.
Yes, I'm so excited to see what they have to say. And thank you so much for this opportunity. Really appreciate it.
All right. Thank you. Thanks for sharing with us, and have a great rest of your evening. All right. So she would like to, she's wants some help. So if you guys want to give her give her your own input in the chat, I'm sure she would appreciate it with it. Sure, she would appreciate it. All right, CA Canooble. I know I've seen CA before, and I feel pretty sure I know who it is, but I'll know for sure once I see her on video.
Hey, how are you?
Hey, how are you?
Good. It's been a long time.
Yeah, it has.
Running around. How are you though? Good?
Great to see you. Now, what podcast number were you?
Oh,
Christy, right?
Yeah.
See, it came back to me.
Yeah, let me see if I can find it. I have it in my my playlist, but yeah, it's been a while. I don't know
Uh-huh.
if there was a number to it. I know it was part of the NDE kind of.
Well, you had an NDE. Are you living in Texas?
No, I'm in PA.
Oh, in Pennsylvania. Okay, yeah. Sorry
Yeah,
about that. But I
that's
thought
okay.
you had didn't you have an NDE?
I did have an NDE.
Right.
It was the time traveling one. So you named it Time Traveler. I don't.
Time traveler. Okay, yeah. Okay, yeah.
It
I'm
doesn't have
trying
a
to.
number though, so I
Oh, I
can't give you.
remember it now. See, it's all coming back. You were the one that you were at college and got kidnapped, and you
Yeah,
helped yourself from the future. You went back in time and helped yourself escape.
I did. Yeah.
Got it. See, it only took me a minute to pull it back up, but hey, that's
Hey,
pretty good.
your memory's better than mine. Okay,
Well,
I'll give you that.
I'm happy about my memory here. So, what is what's going on since then? Have you been having any new experiences or what?
So the newest experiences that I've been having are just meeting a lot of people who are experiencing their awakening.
Hmm.
Oddly enough, they are like drawn to me. I find it
Wow.
weird but satisfying at the same time because they're like, "Oh, well, this has been happening and this has been happening." And I'm like, "Well, hey, you might want to look into, because I don't like to shove, as I say, I put that term on it, shove my ideas down people's throat,
Hmm.
but I do like to encourage them to study, and kind of go over what I did because that's how I kind of opened my eyes to certain things and how I had understandings
Hmm.
um, about what happened to me. Because I mean, at first it didn't even seem like it could be possible until I did some research. I'm like, oh, okay. So for light workers, for example, I'm a transmuter. I transmute energy. I had no idea that transmuters are capable of time travel until after when I did my research. So it's like, oh, that all makes sense now.
So, did a lot of people contact you after the podcast?
There were a lot of people who did. And for anybody watching who commented and liked on my video, thank you so much for your kind words
Hmm.
and reaching out to me. I really appreciate that. It meant a lot because it was still new to me sharing my story. So, especially that part of it, like that was the only time I shared that part just because I am in the public eye a lot.
Hmm.
And most people don't necessarily have an open mind, you know? So, it was nice to have a place where I can, express what happened and be fully accepted and not judged or treated like I'm insane. So,
I am trying to find it real quick. So, all right, I think it's called She Time Traveled and Affected Her Past During Her Near Death Experience. And I'm going to I'm trying to pull it up so if people want to go back and watch it.
yeah, I'll put the link. I'll put the link because I have it in
It's
front of
number
me.
620.
Oh, 620.
620. And we posted it 3 months ago. Wow, it seems longer than that.
Really, it does. It really does. But it's just insane to me because I have my mental health platform. I do interviews for that.
Hmm.
I since then have had literally just person after person after person having their own spiritual awakening or having their own situations, that either reached out to me that wanted to talk about what happened to me or wanted to tell me what happened to them.
Hmm.
So it was just really incredible, that whole side of things just opening up.
That's
It's like a
amazing.
whole community.
Yeah. So if people still want to reach out to you, even now, what's the best way to do it?
Well, I mean, my email is christiane@canuble.com, or they can just Facebook me, Instagram, anything really. I'm under CA Canuble across the board for basically everything. So
All right.
I'm easy to find.
And let me see, your name is right here. So if people are looking and when I hover over it, we can see your name, CA Canuble, if you need to know how to spell that.
Yeah.
Well,
I will say one thing that did happen, it was like the only negative
mm,
was a lot of people reached out to me because apparently there was like a serial killer that took a girl from Kensington, which is nearby where I am.
mhm,
And they were like, it has to be this guy. It has to be this guy. And I'm like, yeah, I need you to understand that it's not,
mhm.
because it was like a totally different time, you know,
Right.
totally different person. The age didn't match. The look didn't match. None of it matched. So that was the only real issue I had with it. But there's always going to be negatives with positives, of course. But
Yeah.
thankfully, your following has been nothing but kind for the most part. So
Oh,
I'm grateful for that.
well, I'm lucky to have an amazing audience. So,
Yeah.
they are terrific.
And I still actually quote you from something you said during our interview. You
Oh,
said, I
really?
am
What did
the
I say?
guy. Yeah, you said I am the sky, but you guys are the stars.
That's true.
And I say that all the time because it's just stuck with me since then. So
That's cool. That is cool. I need to put that on a t-shirt. I'm the
you
sky
do.
and you're the star. That would be really good. I have to think about that.
Look at that. We got merch right
There
there.
you go. Well,
And I'm
Chris,
buying one.
oh, cool. Christy, thank you so much for coming back and sharing with us. It's great seeing you again, and don't be a stranger. I'm always happy to
Of course.
see you guys, especially guests, come back because it's like seeing an old friend.
It sure is. I'll be in the comments, but thank you so much for having me.
All right, you take care.
You too. See ya.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, guys. It is 9:13. We went over a little bit of time, but thank you guys so much for coming and joining me tonight. I really appreciate it. I think we have an NDE. No, it's not an NDE. This will be interesting. Last week, Eric came and we got a little bit of taste of the different things that that's been going on for him. If you remember him, he was the one that's the 9/11 survivor and some other things. So I sat down and we did a whole full podcast with him, and some of you in the comments wanted him to come back. So I have him back and we have it all ready for you tomorrow night. Well, it's not ready yet. It still needs to be finished editing, but I hope you'll enjoy the whole full podcast. And you know, I think you'll really like it. Or at least I hope so. So on that note, thank you guys again. I really appreciate you guys. You know, I wish you the best, and we love you. God bless you, and good night.